The Ahamkara of Sol are a force to be reckoned with, so much of a force that the Vanguard decided to conduct a great hunt, virtually making the species extinct. For better or for worse, this might lend to their intrigue as a species, but some new things have come up about these wish dragons in the lore that I thought would be interesting, such as how they reproduce, and the ultimate question, were the Vanguard right in doing what they did, eradicating an entire species? Let's talk about it. Before we do get started though, I really did want to say thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. The first of many milestones here on the channel, I'm sure, but I just wanted to show my gratitude, and I didn't really know what to do for this occasion. Is there a certain character that you guys want me to scale, or a certain character you want to know more about? Let me know in the comments if you really want to, but let's continue with the Ahamkara. So, as with any species that we previously didn't know about, we have to find out how exactly they're made. And lucky for us, we were just gifted with this information from the new lore books called Gifts and Bargains. This lore book pretty much just talks about how Tyrannus came to be, and what his first wish was like, and how sweet the sip was that he got from his first ever wish. It also goes into greater detail about the relationship between Riven and Tyrannus, and their process of making a baby, or whims. Your brain has shrunk with your stomach. Riven presses her claws into Tyrannus' spine. Her voices thrum together in frustration. We will build here. Together. If you won't let yourself grow, then we'll make something else that does. And they do. The language of secrets and desire passes between them as they build. Mysteries bury themselves in the grass. The grove grows wilder, paths sprawling out to meet Riven's nest in the dreaming city. Alight with creation. Tyrannus says, "There's one more thing I want to make with you." He does not stop and lay out a contract. There is no bargain, with each Ahamkara giving precisely what is owed and no more, in fear of being devoured by their own partner. There are no clauses to whittle down. Tyrannus doesn't hold back. Instead, he gives himself as a gift, and Riven gives herself to him in return. Together, they make something new. Tyrannus unspools his own cells into embryos, pulling from his lungs and his heart and blood, taking the initiator's role of the dam. In response, Riven kindles them, feeding Tyrannus a sire's strength for the task. Together they spin will and memory into shells to house their embryos, their future whims. A great gamble and a solid future. The two of them and their clutch, a new generation of Ahamkara raised in the dreaming city and the black garden, to one day be as they wish. What other Ahamkara had created life like this, with generosity and affection, with teeth unbared and voice unspilled? If any had, Tyrannus never met them. Tyrannus sprawls out again to cool the stone of moss in his nest, exhausted. Riven stands by him inspecting their eggs with cool, critical eyes. Their first gift to their whims is existence. Aside from spicy dragon sex, when it comes to things like the dam and the sire, usually this is based off of gender, and I actually thought as much in my last Wishkeeper video, but that doesn't seem like the case with the Ahamkara. This could purely just be based off of who makes the first move, with the one who's responding being considered the sire. One funny thing to think about is that during the Starcross exotic mission, you interact with these doors by gaining the Crowned by Dragons buff or the Sire and Dams buff respectively, and I didn't come up with this, by the way. I'm just saying that right now. I saw a comment on TikTok saying that this might be their fluids left behind as they were making the babies. And I just thought to myself, I mean, man, if that's true in any way, God help us, dude. Regardless of that, I just wanted to bring this up, one, because I thought it was interesting, and two, because it's a bit of new information about an existing species in Destiny that we really weren't privy to until now. And it also kind of leads me into this next point, which is pretty much the entire point of this video. Were the Vanguard right in exterminating the Ahamkara? As we already know, the Ahamkara were hunted to extinction by the Vanguard and other Guardians because they were deemed as too dangerous. But the only reason why they were seen as such is because Guardians kept falling into their trap. They also kept interacting with them. I feel like it's sort of like the Harambe situation. I'm sure you guys know who Harambe is, where the gorilla was like put down for really no reason, but the reason why it was done was because a child was in its enclosure. Think of that, but like on a much larger scale. The 9 also had something to do with the Ahamkara's extinction, and we find this out in the re-extinction lore tab. It reads as follows: "She has ruined everything. Such blind arrogance. We are lost. Hurry. He will recruit them all if we do not act now. What can we do? Done cannot be undone. Everything is lost. Kill them where they creep and crawl. Let their bones whisper not. The children, they are not our children. We have no time for sentiment. It is this or we lay ourselves bare before the veil. No, No, we must before he takes them all. Imagine his power. Reach together now. No, 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 that our touch be lethal. Riven. We will will it so. The dreamer is lost. Call the rest. That our judgment be true. We will it so. At the time of this lore card, Mara is being blamed by the Nine for pretty much ruining everything, and they suggest among themselves that they take out the rest of the Ahamkara after Riven had already been taken by Oryx. I say all this to show you guys that not just the Vanguard were responsible, they were a driving force, yes, but not the only ones responsible. So ultimately we come to the question of were the Vanguard and I guess the Nine correct in wiping out the entire species? This honestly is a really tough question to answer, and I was giving it some thought and I thought I could relate this to the real world in some way, but it really kind of doesn't work. And I figure as much because in the real world, if you take out a species, then depending on what species that is and what role it plays in the ecosystem, you could be potentially eliminating a food source or a means of control in population for the prey. Like for example, if we just eliminated all the mosquitoes in the world, that would eliminate a source of food for like frogs and other insectivores, which could have varying effects on the ecosystem. But I also feel like this doesn't work for the Ahamkara because it's not like they're going out eating people or animals. They are feeding on the desires of others, which can at times lead to death in other horrendous scenarios as we've seen. However, granting wishes but with a twist so that they get the nutrients and continue to live longer is just in their nature. That's how they hunt, and it's literally just them being them. That would be like you Thanos snapping your fingers and making zebras go away because their stripes give you headaches. Now that's the Vanguard side of things I guess, but for the Nine it was a little bit different. I could see them kind of taking the precaution of eliminating the rest of the Ahamkara, or at least a lot more of them, because at the time Oryx might have eventually taken more, and with multiple Ahamkara by his side, I mean, it could have caused way more trouble than necessary, especially for the Nine who rely on the life of the soul system to exist. Shax definitely thinks it was wrong that the Ahamkara had to die just for being themselves, and this season we even find out that Mara herself somewhat shares in that sentiment. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today, guys. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button. If you want more content similar to this, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. Sub up, stay safe, and peace.